Hi guys, and welcome back to the all-new Operation Blood Orchid as I play an old operator on an old map. But there is a fancy new pulse skin. Look how pretty that looks. Oh wait, he just got shot in the face by Blackbit. I think Ella in her yoga pants is around here as well. Okay. But we'll get onto that shortly. This is the DLC we've been waiting for now for 6 months. It's been a long old 6 months, but I have to say, after playing on this DLC, it was well worth the 6-month wait. This is incredible how much they've changed about the game. It's practically a whole new game, which is probably notable from the size of the DLC file. It was about 17 or 18 gigabytes on the PlayStation and about 26 on the PC, which is a huge file, and the reason for that is it's pretty much a whole new game, which you will notice if you've played Rainbow Six priorly and gone back in after downloading this patch. You've had to reapply every skin, every attachment, change everything. It's all set to default. All the control schemes are set back to default. It took me the best part of an hour to set my game back up to the way it was prior to this operation being deployed. But I have to say, it was well worth that hour. They have changed so much and made it so much better. The lighting, for one, is a big improvement. Now when you break a window and you're looking into a building, it isn't like looking into a black hole. You can actually see what's going on inside the building. And vice versa, you no longer burn your retinas out every time you look outside. You aren't looking directly into the sun anymore. You can actually see what's transpiring outside. Although this could be seen as a negative, as you will now be able to spawn peek a little bit easier, but they have sort of countered this by removing the ACOG sights from Bandit and Jaeger, hopefully reducing that a little bit more. Although in a rather controversial choice, which I'm not really behind, they've removed the sort of red-yellow hue you get when you jump outside of a building when you're on defense. I really wish that was still a thing. I don't know why they decided to take that away. It kind of they've worked so hard over the last few months, especially with Operation Health, changing sort of spawn peeking angles, making it so it's harder to do this, and then they've added this in, and I don't really understand the reasoning behind it. I'm sure some people are absolutely ecstatic about this and they love running outside, but I think it's possibly a little bit too powerful. We'll have to see how it actually carries on working. But that's my initial thoughts on it. I think it's a bit too powerful. That said, however, that's pretty much the only negative I can find from this entire patch. They've changed so much about this game, and all for the positive. They fixed 1,500 different bugs when they released this patch. I didn't even know there were that many, but I'm glad they're all being fixed. I do appreciate there are some new bugs that have transpired since the release of this, but I'm sure they'll get around to fixing them. They look like they're really investing a lot of time and effort into making this game a great game. So I'm really pleased to see this being a positive change for Ubisoft, and hopefully this is the way that Rainbow Six is going to keep progressing and just keep getting better and better and just become the game that I really kind of want it to be, and just remove as many negative aspects from it as possible. And the big change for me is the tick rate on the servers. They've changed the tick rate from 50 up to 60, which has meant the hit detection is meant to be crisper, and I do think it does feel an awful lot crisper than it's ever felt before. I never really felt that when I sort of fire into people and I just end up hitting so many bullets, or at least feel like I was shooting so many bullets into people and not actually getting any kills for them. Having this change to the tick rate and the feels that the hit detection is a lot better. And I know it's not my aim has got any better. If anything, my aim has got considerably worse. I've been playing a lot of PC games recently, so I haven't been playing on the console at all. And let's be fair, when you don't play on console, your aim does go a little bit to pot. Using a mouse and keyboard is so much easier than using a controller. And even with my slightly questionable aim at times, I'm still able to pick up kills when I do connect the right bullets at the right time. It does feel like a massive improvement to the game. Hopefully they keep continuing to improve on this and it just gets better and better. And I think there was a lot of the problem with a lot of people wanting to stop playing Rainbow Six Siege was the fact the hit detection was so pitiful. So I'm really happy to see it as a positive change into the game. I'm really looking forward to the more continued improvement of this game. And not only have we seen all these massive improvements to the way the game plays, we've also seen a load of new content being added. The big one for me is a new map. A new map is always a massive thing being added into Rainbow Six Siege because you have to go through and learn it all. It's not something that you can pick up very quickly because you have to learn where all the camera placements are, where the objectives are, what's the best window to aggress through. You've got to work out which windows you've got to be careful of, the spawn peeking routes. All these things have got to sort of go into learning each of these maps, and it takes a lot of time to do it, and I really like doing these things. It's really rewarding experience. Once you've learned the map, you kind of know how the map plays out, and I think it's just it's a great experience having to learn each of these things, to learn to get better all the time. So I'm really looking forward to spending a bit more time playing on these maps. Unfortunately, I've only managed to play it a few times now. I've learned where the outside cameras are, though they are the most obvious ones. I haven't got to the point where I've learned any of the internal cameras or any of the spots where the objective spawns or anything about the map. I've only played on it a couple of times, but the limited amount of time that I've played on this map, it does seem incredibly fun. So I'm really looking forward to learning this map in its entirety. It looks amazing. Alongside this lovely new map, we've also been given access to 3 new operators, 2 from Hong Kong and 1 from Poland. Now, starting out with the Hong Kong operator Legion, who is a new defender, who was clearly called in on his day off as he is still sporting a pair of cargo shorts and a t-shirt, although do not let this look deceive you, he is still absolutely lethal. Primary weapons, Legion has access to the T5 SMG, which boasts a 900 round per minute rate of fire, which makes it one of the best SMGs in the game. On top of this, it also has a very manageable recoil and a fairly fast reload speed. For a second primary weapon, he has a very unique silent shotgun, which I have really tested out very thoroughly to see whether it's affected its range massively, but it seems incredibly powerful. I've only used it a couple times, but I have managed to pick up a fair few kills with it. It is a very good weapon. As for sidearms, he has access to a bog standard pistol, nothing special to write home about, but it will help you out in a pinch. As for his gadget, that is a very unique thing. Now, it also has a very unique amount of uses as well. If you start out the game, you only have access to 1 of them, and they recharge over a set period of time. So if you stay alive for the entire duration of a game, you can have access to up to 7 of them, though if you die early, you cannot get full use out of your gadget. Now, this gadget is an invisibly cloaked mine. Well, it's not completely invisible, it's the same as Echo's drone, it's cloaked. You can't really see it to the naked eye if you're just glancing around, and I do sometimes find it is a little bit harder to see than Echo's drone because it's usually sort of in hidden doorways and things like that. This mine has a really interesting interaction in the fact that once it's activated, it'll do initial 10 damage to the enemy, and then for them on in, it will dot them for 8 damage until they remove the barb from their leg. The animation is quite a short little animation to remove the barb, but it does leave them exposed while it's being done. Now, this enables Legion to set up some sneaky little traps for rushing operators, making him an incredibly effective operator and a hell of a lot of fun to play. Next up is the attacking Hong Kong operator Ying, and she has possibly my favourite gadget in the game, which is her Candela charges, which has a very similar interaction to the way that Fuse's charges work, although it doesn't fire explosive hockey pucks, it just fires a load of flashbangs into a room. Now, you can deploy this on a window in the same way that you can deploy Fuse's charge, or you can throw it or roll it into a room, which works just as well. Now, the big advantage of this thing is the fact that it doesn't actually affect you. You bring down special goggles which make you immune to these flashbangs. Although, special note, it doesn't actually make you immune to all flashbangs, and I did try this out the other day. A teammate threw a flashbang into the room, so I threw my thing at the same time to activate my goggles, and I was still flashed by my teammate's flashbang. So something to bear in mind, doesn't make you immune to everything, just your own charges. Now, although her gadget is incredibly fun to use and is very powerful when utilised properly, she is somewhat let down by her lacking primary weapons. Her main weapon is a Type 95 LSW. Now, although this weapon has an 80 round magazine and reloads pretty darn fast for an LMG, it is somewhat let down by its slow rate of fire, high recoil and low damage, which does make it occasionally quite difficult to pick up kills with it. Although I suppose if you look at it in its true sense, you're usually going to be against people that are flashed out of their mind and wouldn't be able to see you, so it doesn't really matter if your weapon doesn't kill people that quickly. She also has access to the 612 shotgun. This is exactly the same as Legion's, other than the fact that it comes unsilenced, and I haven't done a direct comparison between the two to see which one's better. I'd assume the unsilenced version has a bit better range and slightly more damage, but I haven't done a direct comparison between the two of them. I suppose in time I will actually work out which one's better, but at the moment they're both shotguns, and I tend to pick the assault weapons over them because I want to be able to kill people at all ranges rather than just shoot people up close. Like Legion, she only has access to a very bog standard pistol. Although it's nothing special to write home about, it will still help you out in a pinch, so don't disregard it as a weapon entirely. All in all, though, she is one of my favourite operators. Although her weapons may be a little bit lackluster, her primary her gadget is just incredible, and it's so much fun to play with, and definitely my top pick operator out of this, although she isn't anything particularly standout. I just find I have an awful lot of fun playing with this character. And last but by no means least is the Polish operator Ella. She is also a defender, though she is unlike the other two in the fact she is a 3 movement speed, 1 armor, which makes her rapid. Also, like Legion, I feel she was called up to service on her day off as she's still wearing some yoga pants. I don't really see they have much tactical advantage, but they seem to work for her. Though this partly could be down to her weapons. Not only does she have access to the only shotgun in the game that has a long barrel, making it more effective at long range, she also has probably one of the best SMGs in the game, which has the highest rate of fire out of any primary weapon at 1080 RPM. Paired with this, it also has a 50 round magazine, a rapid reload speed and very manageable recoil. This weapon is truly incredible. And if that wasn't quite enough, for her sidearm, she also has access to a very unique gadget in the fact that she is the only operator in the game that has access to a red dot sight on her secondary weapon, which makes the pistol actually effective at long range. And I have to say, this red dot on this weapon is lovely. It is a beautifully clear weapon. And if that wasn't quite enough, her gadget ain't half bad as well. It's a mine very similar to Legion's. You can play place it anywhere on the map. It's like a sticky ice cream cone. You throw it above doorways and things, and when you walk past it, it hits you much like an echo drone does, and that is pretty darn effective, and it can allow Ela to set up some beastly traps to kill her opponents. All in all, she is an absolutely incredible operator and probably one of the top picks for anyone who's playing this DLC. Now we have come to the close of this video, and I have to say, all in all, this patch for this game is absolutely incredible, and if you haven't picked up Rainbow Six Siege already, I'd highly recommend doing it now, because like everyone, whether you're the most seasoned player in the world or just starting out, you've got to learn this map from scratch and play these new operators, so you won't be at such a disadvantage if you join mid-season when everyone's got used to them. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I shall see you next time. Goodbye for now.